It's Easter weekend in London's dazzling jewelry quarter. Merchants close their shops for the holiday and the streets are empty. Except for one. After midnight, a lone security guard approaches the Haddon Garden Safe Deposit Company. He's responding to a text from the damage alarm. He checks the front door. Locked. Nothing out of the ordinary, so he goes about his merry way. But just beneath the surface, a massive hydraulic drill slices through concrete walls. Manned by London's most seasoned criminals. They've come for the vault, and they're not leaving empty-handed.
Welcome to Heist Club, where we've got a new heist story coming at you each week. We're here to uncover the details behind some of the most audacious and ridiculous robberies of all time. How they pulled it off, how they got caught, and the mysteries that remain. Bank heists, art heists, diamond heists, and other capers you won't believe. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Todd.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to Heist Club, everyone. Todd, are you ready to get into this episode today?
This is what I think we talked about a while back, and I think we're excited to finally do. I dressed up for it, whether people could see it or not. I'm totally dressed up. We are talking about, to give something away, some old fogies pulling off a crime, you know? Some elderly gentlemen. So I'm actually wearing a polyester shirt with that in mind.
Okay, that's great.
Thrift store polyester shirt.
That's funny. I did not dress up.
I don't know if it made sense or not, but I thought about it. I was like, if I'm thinking about it, I'm going to do it. I had the nickname, people called me Grandpa in high school and in college, and they were not connected. It was partially because I wore a lot of polyester pants and thrift store polyester shirts.
Oh,
so
my God.
I dressed the part way
Wow.
before, and I think this might be the last shirt I have left that's kind of like of that ilk. Although I probably have people will tell me, no, I actually have more than that. But to me, this is the last one that makes me a grandpa.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's a funny nickname, though.
It's funny. It's like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I embraced it. It never felt like a, again, I wore what I wore. I had to own it. And then eventually wore jeans and t-shirts, but it took a while.
That's funny.
So alternative. So, okay, well, let's do this puppy. First, some background. Right in the heart of London's jewelry quarter sits the Haddon Garden Safe Deposit Company. It's a modest-looking multi-story block that blends in with the surrounding shops, which we think is the way to go. We've definitely done other stories where they put a pyramid on top and drew a lot of attention to the money they were holding. And we're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Hide yourself.
Yeah.
So this one was built in the 1940s. It was first of its kind in the city. It was a secure underground fortress for jewelers to stash their backstock and for civilians to hide grandma's wedding ring or, a suspicious amount of cash. And the first and second floors were just office space, local businesses, normal stuff. But below is where the prize was, if you would. So the real attraction was the basement, like we said. It was a vault so overbuilt, it borders on dramatic, I think we could say. 999. Love that it's just below 1,000. 999.
Just round it up. What is going on?
I mean, you think about that. I don't have an image of this, but like, it's easier to do like what? 100 by 10 or whatever the math might be, 25 by 40. Is that right? I don't know if that worked. But instead they do 909 steel boxes. So it's like what? It's 99 by 11? I think of the math is good. It's like, how are you? I don't know. Someone who doesn't like math put this out. But yeah, 999 steel boxes stacked floor to ceiling like a glittering library, sealed behind an iron gate and 7 feet of reinforced concrete. So very much feels like a good luck. You're never getting in here.
Right.
Also watched 24/7 by CCTV cameras, as many things in London are, and guarded by a security system so secretive it actually texts Scotland Yard if you breathe too hard near it. So Scotland Yard being, the police headquarters in London. The coolest part, though, we should say, is the infrared motion sensors. Like a crisscrossing web of lasers. Reminds me of, what was it, Entrapment? The Sean Connery, Catherine Zeta-Jones movie?
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one? That was like the famous scene where like she has to like move through it and her body is going left and right and Connery is, I think, dictating where she goes.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess there's probably a scene like that in Mission Impossible as well. But I think Entrapment.
Isn't Entrapment the thing, like, it kind of set the precedent and everyone is referencing that when they do
I think so. That's the first time I remember it. Again,
Yeah.
I don't remember it being the greatest movie at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it made money though, and it was a big breakout for Catherine Zeta-Jones before Chicago and everything.
Well, it's the equivalent of the one scene in Mission Impossible. So anytime someone's doing this,
You know.
with a rope,
Yeah,
you know,
it's from that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So on paper, unbreachable, which of course only makes it more tempting.
Yep.
So after 75 years of guarding London's most valuable keepsakes, the Hatton Garden Safe Depository earned a squeaky clean reputation of trustworthiness. That is until Tuesday, April 7th, 2015. So not that long ago. After the long Easter weekend, Hatton Garden staff returned for what they expect to be a normal Tuesday. Instead, they open the vault and walk into, I guess we can call it an apocalyptic scene. The floor is covered in debris. And this is a quote. It was strewn with discarded safe deposit boxes and numerous power tools, including an angle grinder, concrete tools, and crowbars. So they kind of left everything as it was. And then headlines splash across the country, and London is in shock. The vault, again, was supposed to be untouchable, and it was just the target in the largest burglary in English history. That's a long history, too. And then to add insult to injury, an amateur graffiti artist pops by the scene and leaves behind a cheeky little note. So basically outside, it's, you can see it, but for our listeners, outside it says Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Limited, and someone added a un before safe. So Hatton Garden Unsafe Deposit.
So clever.
It almost just looks like a Post-it note that says un.
Wow, is this a Banksy?
I know. I'm not sure it's quite Banksy level, but it's, it's fun. It's cheeky. What a cheeky little note.
What a cheeky thing to do in London.
And then security experts are stumped. One says that it, quote again, was like something on the 1980s. Generally, I guess because it just felt a little less than modern. The quote was, generally criminals default to methods that they're comfortable with, and that physical presence, the physical drilling, is redolent, I love that word, redolent of an earlier generation who are less technologically sophisticated. Basically, this was like a good old-fashioned vault drilling. Investigators offered a £20,000 reward, which is $27,000 US, and even appealed to wives and girlfriends of men with specialist drill knowledge. Wives and girlfriends. Maybe these were ex-military guys or Eastern European gang. These are the kind of rumors that are out there. And, we'll get to it. Experts were correct. To pull off a heist of this caliber, it would take experience. A lot of experience. Maybe some men wearing polyester shirts. And these guys had decades of experience. You want to go through the team?
Sure. Let's meet the team. Let's reveal who did it. London's classic post-war scoundrels are here to show the young folk how it's done. Meet the Grandads gang. First, we got Brian Reeder. I will say all these guys kind of look exactly the same. They all look like scary old British dudes.
I know.
Just to sum up all the descriptions of what they look like.
Well, it's funny. Like, I think we often love doing who would play them in a movie? I know there actually was a movie made, and we'll talk about it at the end. But, like, I think I went into this being like, which one's Michael Caine? And then, like, I think like 3 of them can be Michael Caine.
And just imagine 6 or 7 Michael Caines.
They've cloned Michael Caine. So instead of Mickey 17, it's Michael Caine 17.
Michael 17.
Michael 17.
That's funny. All right. First up, we got Brian Reeder, known as the Governor and the Master by his criminal cohorts.
Governor. Hey, Governor.
76 years young, involved in the 1983 Brinks Mat robbery, where he and his co-conspirators stole 26 million pounds worth of gold from London's Heathrow Airport, 150 million in USD today. He was also tried for killing an undercover cop during this heist, but he was acquitted. He also ran a used car lot and was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2015, so right before the heist. Next up, I want like a sound effects or a theme song. We got Terry Perkins.
It feels like
come on down.
I don't think you're the biggest sports nut, but it kind of sounds like you're announcing the starting lineup of an NBA team.
I can't.
And
I don't know why. Like
out of Liverpool, he's not. He's actually not from Liverpool. But yeah.
My narrator voice is just a weird sports voice. I don't know. It almost seems like a South Park parody. Like here we go.
I like it.
All right, Terry Perkins, 67 years old, made headlines in 1983 when he robbed the Security Express Depot vaults on his 35th birthday. He and his crew made off with £6 million. It was Britain's biggest cash rage at the time. He only got to enjoy the spoils for a few months before getting caught. He was sentenced to 22 years. But a simple prison sentence wouldn't stop him. He escaped in 1995. He managed to stay hidden for 17 years before the authorities nabbed him in 2012, officially released shortly after.
That's weird to me. He got 22 years. He escaped. He was free for 17 years. And then what? They only put him back in jail for like a year or two more instead of. It's like, oh well, you were.
I don't know.
The 22 years were almost up. Whether you were, in the cell or outside, the prison walls. We'll
I think
count
the
it.
passion was gone for the authorities.
Yeah, like,
17
whatever.
years. It's probably a whole new set of employees. Like, who is this guy?
He was also in his 60s, right? At that point, so he'd been free for 17 years. He was in his early 60s. And like, oh, well, what can this guy do now? He's in his 60s. He'll never commit another crime.
Yeah, by the time you catch him, and they were like, okay, we don't care anymore. If it was 5 years, we'd be really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terry and Brian were good pals, having worked together on jobs for 12 years. The rest of the crew includes John Kinney Collins, age 74, really mean-looking dude.
Seriously,
with glasses.
Not happy in this picture. Not happy.
This guy is just now imagine Michael Caine, but with glasses.
And looking sad. Looking sad.
It does look sad.
This is Cider House Rules, Michael Caine. He's actually not sad the entire movie, but you know.
Yeah, no, I got you. Age 74, he's a break-in expert and a football ticket scalper. He called his criminal life a living, where everyone else clocks in their 9 to 5. He clocks in at your house when you're not at work. He's got extra change to bankroll some of the equipment, so he fronted some of the money to get this heist done. And then another guy is Danny Jones. This is maybe my favorite character, just based on some facts about him I'm getting to right now. 60 years old, the group's token oddball. The courts called him eccentric. One friend told the court, quote, Danny is a very sensitive guy, a very funny man, eccentric to extremes. Everyone who knew Danny would say he was mad. He would go to bed in his mother's dressing gown with a fez on, which I just feel like we have to harp on that for a second.
It's quite a look. It's definitely a look.
Yeah, definitely painting a picture. I guess it's one of those things you just have to say, okay, Danny, you live your best self, Danny. Some more of his quirks: he claimed to have fortune-telling powers, was obsessed with the army and physical fitness, and preferred sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag. But don't let his eccentricities fool you. He had serious lockpicking skills. He's a lifelong criminal dating back to 1975, and in 1982, he even lifted 92,000 pounds worth of jewelry.
Yeah,
so
he is.
What a character.
He is an interesting character. I don't know which Michael Caine movie he's from. I don't know. Not.
Maybe him from Children of Men.
Oh, maybe. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's really. Oh, good. I was gonna say like Now You See Me, but I don't know. It's hard to think. I keep looking.
Just the weird hippie.
Yeah, I'm now waiting for like which is the Michael Caine from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And I don't. Maybe that was the first. Maybe we're just. Yeah, it's fun to think about it though. Anyway.
All right. Our next Michael Caine is not named Michael Caine. In fact, it's Carl Wood, 58 years old, suffering from Crohn's disease. He lives on disability allowance of 650 pounds a month. He's also 8,890 pounds in debt. Called, quote, a general dog's body. He's more of a supporting player for lugging heavy equipment rather than masterminding an elaborate heist. So he'll carry the equipment, and he's in debt, and he's just happy to be there. Maybe
he's younger than everyone else so far because he's 58. He's not as old as everyone, although we're gonna get to the youngest. So
one more thing about him before we move on. We're getting close to the end of the crew. Don't let him being just a general dog's body, whatever that means, fool you. He had 6 convictions starting in 1975, and he did 4 years in prison in 2002 for a kidnapping conspiracy involving corrupt cops.
I think I will pause there to say, like, they're older, and I think there's, like, some humor and fun in that. But, like, I think they're bad guys, I'm sure in the movie they're not. I'm sure in the movie they make them a little bit more likable. But, like, they did some real crimes, I think, obviously, a heist is a crime. Robbing is a crime. And, there can be victims there. But, I don't know. Kidnapping conspiracy... I don't know. Some of these crimes just feel...
Someone might have killed an undercover cop.
I know, right? It's like, okay.
No, I mean, their whole lives are crime.
We're going to have as much fun with this as we can. But I think in reality, like, I don't know if they were good people.
No. I don't think so.
We don't want people
but we're going to make fun of them for being old anyway.
Yeah.
Last up, We got the spring chicken of the bunch coming in at 48 years old. That's Hugh Doyle. I would say he's the least Michael Caine.
He actually looks a lot like my uncle. He looks like my Uncle George. Okay, this is Uncle George.
All right,
all of you get that reference, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows Uncle George. And
all right, we got the famous Uncle George here. Hugh Doyle, he's buddies with Kenny and Brian and Terry. He's not an expert criminal like the rest, but he's down. He's down for some fun. He's down to make some money.
Like there's always like a character like this in our heist. There's always one who's like, yeah, he's not like a criminal, but he sells newspapers and they're gonna bring him in so he can be a part of it.
He just knows the guys at the bar and
he's like, oh, I can help in some way, right? Yeah.
That is a weird character. Not a criminal, but I do know a bunch of criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the aged Avengers didn't assemble a team on their own. They had their own Nick Fury or Charlie or whatever pop culture team you want to think of. I can't think of any more assembling characters.
Well, I still think about like Clooney and Pitt in Ocean's 11, but I guess that's true that they're very much on camera and they're very, it's hard to think of another.
All right. Well, here he is. There's a shadowy figure only known as Basil. He saw their impressive rap sheets and called them in for one last job.
I was wondering if you were going to say Basil or Basil. I was wondering.
Looks like Basil, but Basil's way cooler.
I mean, I was going to say Basil, too.
And we both know why, because of Austin Powers.
Basil Exposition, of course. Probably the only Basil. I probably knew I wasn't cooking much of that when I first saw, or I barely cook now, but I wasn't cooking much when I was a teenager and I saw Austin Powers. So I'm not even sure I knew what basil was to think about cooking. So Basil Exposition was the first real introduction of a basil in my life. And
I didn't know what basil was until 2018.
There you go.
I don't know.
There you go. Basil it is. And I actually think that is how they say it in the UK. So it's not just you and I guessing how to say it, but I was still wondering.
Good, because Basil is not a tough name for a dude.
No. Hey, Basil.
My name is Turmeric.
Hey, Saffron. Hey, Saffron.
Hey, cilantro.
Saffron, throw me the bag. Throw me the bag, Saffron.
We could do this for hours.
Well.
Okay.
The hand garden job did not come together, though, in a week or a month or even a year. It actually started 3 years earlier in 2012. Their headquarters, now this is a fun detail. It's kind of what you hope it'd be. The Castle Pub in North London, of course. They meet at a pub every week. So every Friday, the group of 7, including Basil, met for a few pints and got to work planning the biggest heist in British history. As people do. You're always wondering at the pub, what are they talking about? Oh, is it last week's footy match? Is it what their children are doing in college or whatever? But no, they're planning the biggest heist in British history.
Right, yeah.
And then apparently Terry Perkins showed up every time in a suit and tie. Love that. Again, great detail. Old school. And he treats every minute of the job with great importance while he's drinking a pint. So I guess everything just happens over a pint. And they did more than just chat about their plans. They actually did some undercover recon as well. The crew posed as potential clients to survey the building, casually checking out angles, doors, layout, etc. Something maybe a paranoid socialite looking for the best place to hide their jewels would do, So really, we need to make sure it's in the right place. One of them even did some pretend work in the building elevator. That was Terry. On March 31st, 2015, he slips inside the Haggarn facility in full builder cosplay, but he spends time near the vault shaft taking mental notes while also appearing to fix, nothing. He's just pretending to fix anything.
Yeah.
And then it turns out the elevator shaft ran right alongside the vault wall, so, bingo, big find. That's going to help them. But in addition to the elevator shaft being along the vault wall, he also learns there are no guards after hours. It's a complete ghost town.
Wow.
This is something we've also seen this before in other places. Or
gotta have someone there,
or
man.
they think there's a guard there, and they show up, and there's no guards around. So, I mean, a lot of confidence in security systems, I gotta say. And look, this place had lots of concrete, right? So, good luck. So then Kenny Collins, the break-in expert, also made multiple recon trips in his van and dropped 3,500 pounds, which is 4,700 US dollars, on a diamond-tipped drill, which we have a photo from the crime scene. It is gigantic. I guess it makes sense to get through all that concrete, but it is.
Yep.
I could not operate this. You need
It looks insane.
You need a break-in expert. You need a Kenny Collins, if you would. And they learned how to use. I made it sound like he knew what he was doing, but the diamond strip drill. Apparently, they learned how to use it on YouTube, of course, because even career criminals need tutorials. Uh,
I went on YouTube and I typed in diamond tips drill, and it looked like a very simple, easy little thing. It didn't look like this at all. So
it
I
takes
don't know.
it takes a diamond to steal some diamonds. That's what
I was like,
they
is it a
say.
diamond cutting? I don't know.
Well, it's sharp, right? Yeah, it is cutting, right? It's like
Yeah, but you think they would use it to cut the diamonds, but they don't. They need diamonds to get the diamonds, but not to cut the diamonds, to cut through the concrete to get to the diamonds.
Although we have had episodes where they cut diamonds. What do they cut diamonds with? Other diamonds? A butter knife?
I don't know. Did you hear this shrug over the audio medium? I don't know. No idea.
Shrug as loudly as you can. Like, try to hit the mic. I'm hitting my headphones, but I realize listeners can't hear the hitting of headphones.
Maybe if I can pop my shoulder out of place,
Oh, yeah.
it'll make a loud enough
Go
sound.
all lethal weapon on us. Anyway, Danny Jones, the oddball, your favorite oddball, also purchased some power tools, including a Hilti brand hydraulic ram for opening deposit boxes. So it's small but mighty. This is much smaller. We have a picture of this too. I'm guessing this is it's the ram, but then you need to attach something to it to actually, right? Woo!
You're asking the wrong man.
Our tools podcast is really gonna fail.
Yeah, we should really shift.
So Hugh, the youngster of the group, is not going in, by the way. He's making himself useful in the future. Don't worry, we'll explain how. But the pieces are in place, the tools are bought, and the vault is practically calling their names.
Next stop, Easter weekend 2015, where the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company will be closed for the holiday with no security for some reason. Thursday, April 2nd, 2015 evening, the staff at Hatton Garden Safe Deposit clock out for Easter holiday, blissfully unaware that a gang of pensioners and eccentrics are about to attempt the biggest burglary in British history. That's the tongue twister I found earlier. Biggest burglary in British history.
It is. I already messed up. I couldn't even say biggest. I said biggest.
The biggest burglary in British history.
Biggest burglary in British history.
All right, and then 8:20 p.m., Kenny and Danny park a white van on a nearby street. They're both disguised as gas contractors, dressed in striped trousers, high-visibility vests, and baseball caps. Brian Reeder, or the governor,
The governor?
question mark, if we would, makes his way to the scene in style. He takes a bus for free using someone else's pensioner pass, which is a good idea, I think.
Yeah, he's saving money.
He wears a bright red scarf, maybe for luck or perhaps for the festivities. He's just really excited and wants to wear a scarf. At 9:20 p.m., the mystery man known only as Basil arrives. He's rocking a red wig, I guess to match the red scarf for the other guy, and carrying a comically large bag on his shoulder to hide his face from CCTV. I'm imagining him carrying on his shoulder. I don't know what he's doing.
It was just like he's just holding it with two arms in front of his face.
He has a giant boombox or something that facing the camera.
Very discreet, very discreet.
Basil slips in through the front door. No forced entry, just a very confident and very quiet sneak in. Really smooth. He makes his way to the rear fire exit and opens it. So he goes to the back of the building. And then cue Kenny. He pulls the van around one by one. The crew hauls in the heavy gear. Like several 100 pounds of power tools heavy. Like so much gear. With tools loaded in, Kenny returns to his position as the lookout. But he's the break-in expert. Why isn't he going in?
Yeah.
Kenny sadly has a nasty case of osteoarthritis, not ideal for a physically demanding heist. So we're not using his expertise.
But they brought him in anyway, It is a choice. It is a choice.
Yeah. But the rest of the team, they're headed inside. So Danny, Basil, Brian, Terry, and Carl descend into the ground floor courtyard. Two of them run to the second floor. Basil sends the elevator up to meet them. They disable it from the inside. Now, with the shaft empty, Basil does what any sensible burglar does. He rappels down the elevator shaft, which is crazy for an old man. I know. Action movie style, straight into the basement. He's got 60 seconds to beat the alarm, no pressure. He disables his security system in a way that was never explained. To this day, no one knows how he did it. He cuts the power to the iron gate. He also pockets the security hard drives, just in case anyone gets curious later. pretty solid.
What didn't he do? He's like a one man. He'd really playing every role. He's so slick about it. It feels like he's quick, smart.
Yeah.
I love it.
The rest of the crew strolls through the now dead gate like they're walking into a Sunday roast. Time to drill through the wall. This isn't drywall. This is bank vault grade 7 feet of concrete. They use that massive diamond point drill to make 3 holes straight through it. It takes over an hour and a half. But unbeknownst to them, at 12:21 a.m., a single damage alarm pings Scotland Yard and a security guard. Will the boys be caught mid-act? We'll find out after the break.
Be right back. Welcome back, Heist Club members. Our gang has gone to drilling, but are completely unaware of the trouble brewing at the surface. Basil's hacking skills were no match for the small but mighty damage report alarm. 20 minutes after midnight, a lone security guard arrives at the safe deposit company to investigate the damage alarm text he received on his phone. He tries the front door. It's locked. Company policy said he's not allowed to go in alone. I guess it's a smart policy because he's safe, but not a smart policy because you can't investigate alarms.
Why did he show up if it wasn't locked? If he's allowed to go in?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why did
It's
he
like
go
if
anyway?
it was unlocked, he just stands there anyway.
Why did he show up?
Shouldn't he have been like, "Hey, Bob, come meet me there. I can't go in alone," you know?
Bob.
So there's some flaws in the security plan. But yeah, company policy says he's not allowed to go in alone. So he goes home and he enjoys the rest of his holiday weekend.
Okay.
So this alarm went off and really did nothing there.
Yeah.
But again, not so fast. Scotland Yard also received the same message, and surely London's finest will investigate. Except apparently that same alarm had been set off by a bug once, so they just dismiss it as a false alarm, and our crew is lucky again. So
It was a really big bug.
it was a giant bug. Back underground, Danny and Basil crawl through the newly drilled holes into the vault room. Like kids in a candy store, they get to work on the 999 safety deposit boxes. Remember, 999, not 1,000.
Not 1,000.
Not 1,000.
We can't round up.
Nope, can't do it. But the deposit boxes, apparently tougher than expected. They break their fancy hydraulic ram almost immediately. So, not that fancy. But they've got other tools such as crowbars and hammers. Danny and Basil hack and pry away. But sadly, the Hatting Garden Safe Deposit Company lives up to its reputation and they simply cannot pry the boxes open. And that's the end of our story. So they tried, guys.
They tried.
And roll credits. And no. But 8 a.m. rolls around, which also means sunlight. And, got to hand to them 12 hours. It's a lot of time for these old guys. But they got to bail empty-handed right now. 3 years of planning and hours of hard labor just to come up with nothing. They can't be out, during the daylight carrying things outside. It's a little bit more noticeable. Maybe also people are actually arriving to the 2 floors above them, maybe. But they make the walk of shame back to the van. And when they try to open the door, it's also locked and Kenny's fast asleep inside. Considering the man was pushing 75 and just pulling all-nighter, we'll cut him some slack.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I totally get it. There has to be a scene at some point in the story where they fall asleep. Probably on the bus, too. They probably also fell asleep on the bus.
Yeah, they're all, man. I'm sure they all took shifts.
Good for them. Good for them. They
sleeping.
need it. Then they had some raisins and they woke up. After some shouting and banging on the windows, though, Kenny's up and they're out of there. After this disaster, Brian, the governor, bails on being a part of the heist. He bails, even though he's one of the main guys. In his experience, once you veer off plan, you start making careless errors. So he's making this choice because of his experience. He knows if it's not working, it's hard to adapt last second. So he'd rather flee and not be a part of it in case they get caught than give it another go and see what could go wrong.
I think I would have bailed at this point too. I think this is crazy what they do next, honestly. They're just like, yeah, if it doesn't work, I think I would have completely been terrified to just go back.
I mean, yeah, okay, we left all our stuff there, but we're going to go back in a day to rob some more,
I'm not going back. That's what I would say.
Yeah. It's a holiday weekend. I'm guessing, by doing it Thursday night for the holiday weekend, I guess that afforded them the time if they wanted to go back. But you just assume they do it early because it's like, okay, we do it. And then by the time they even find out something was stolen, it's 2 or 3 days later and they're well off our tail.
That is pretty bold.
But yeah, I before that, it's the gang is pretty pissed at the governor, partially because they still want to do it. They want to finish it off. He's obviously experienced, and him casting down on it probably does not help them. Although, Basil seems pretty capable on his own. I'm sure he'll bring them together. But so they push forward as a group of 6. And then that morning, Kenny and Danny hop in Kenny's white Mercedes and go on a shopping spree. They pull into Machine Mart. That's the real name of the store, apparently. And out they come with a brand new hydraulic ram, which is also crazy. It's like, oh, that one broke. Let's just get a different one and see if it works.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. A new hydraulic ram. And then they swing by Haddon Garden, cruising the streets like they're window shopping. And they got to make sure the coast is still clear. No alarms, no police tape, no suspicious glances. All looks good. They're back at it. Saturday, April 4th, 2 nights after their miserable first attempt. It's also Terry's birthday, so...
Happy birthday, Terry.
Happy birthday, Terry. It's time for a heist party.
Woo! Yeah, so they're back in the building. As they approach the building, they're about to be anyway. As they approach the building, Carl Wood, our heister in debt, notices a light on inside, and he panics, as I freaking would too.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back inside. I'm with the bailers at this point. Kenny tries to convince him to stay, but it doesn't work. Carl bails, so now the gang is down to 5. If there's a light on and there wasn't before, I would freak out.
Well, I guess when you've done that 3 years of planning, and it's finally the time to do it, and you know how much money is down there, it's even, while reason might tell you it's not worth the risk, you're like, I gotta go. One way or another.
I just don't have heists in my blood then. I don't think it's as
We are elderly men. We've lived long lives. Let's just do this. Why not?
Yeah,
you gotta live.
I guess they're all kind of doing this with nothing left to lose, kind of one last why not kind of vibe anyway.
Yeah.
But not Carl.
The movie would definitely set up as one last job. It's definitely
exactly. So the rest of the crew and Danny and Basil and Terry, they press on. No more elevators to disable. No more alarms to clip. Because it's just already done.
They did it. They did all the work. Look at that. Easy peasy.
Everything they need is already broken. So all they have to do is carry the hydraulic ram back into the basement and finish what they started, which is way easier said than done. But of course, fate throws in a curveball for these old timers. Terry, the birthday boy, collapses. A diabetic episode in the middle of the heist. But like a true professional, he brought 3 days worth of medication, which is overkill.
I think they just always carry 3 days worth of medication. I think that's their life.
Yeah, that's true. As the crew administers it, gets him upright, and he pushes forward. He's like, all right, let's do it.
I will say, I wonder if they left that in the movie, because that's the kind of thing that happens in a movie, and you're like, that's not real.
That's true.
It's a funny idea, whatever, but that's not real. But it actually happened.
Yeah, movies would just cake on crazy little thing after crazy little thing to bring up the tension, but that's what's actually happening in real time.
Yeah.
Back in the basement, Basil and Danny, the oddball, the Fez sleeping bag man, the fortune teller of the group, they crawl through the hole in the wall. This time, the hydraulic ram works. Thanks, Machine Mart.
Yeah. I guess it just was the other one. The other one was just, inept.
I guess. They crack into 70 boxes like Easter eggs. They went for the easiest boxes to reach. Inside, gold and platinum bars, loose precious stones, valuable heirlooms and keepsakes. Their haul totals to 14 million pounds, 19 million in USD.
So that's a haul. That's a real haul.
But before they leave, they douse the scene in bleach, erasing every trace of themselves. The room is wrecked, boxes shattered, tools everywhere. It looks like a war zone. In the following weeks, the gang, minus Basil, meets up repeatedly to figure out what to do with 14 million pounds, or 19 million USD, worth of stolen gold, gems, and cash. Don't they have a plan before?
I know. I love the, no, what are we going to do? It worked. 3 years of planning for the heist, and now weeks of planning on what to do with the money. It's like
all right, what do we do now?
Yeah. Hey guys, what do we do now?
What do I do with it?
They probably left a nice tip at the bar, don't you think? I hope so.
The big idea was to hide the loot in garbage bins at Kenny's brother-in-law's house.
They sound drunk.
They do.
I'm sorry.
Just go to my brother-in-law's house.
The garbage bins. No one will check.
I know this guy. They call him the Fish.
Yeah, his name's Billy the Fish. Who would ever think that Billy the Fish is hiding loot in his garbage cans?
This guy looks like a fish. No, he doesn't. He looks like another Michael Caine. He just looks like everybody else.
He looks tough. This guy looks tough, though.
Anyway, Billy used to be a regular at the Billingsgate Fish Market, hence the name. Not exactly subtle, but it stuck. Billy's self-assessment, quote, not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
That's
which
him
I
talking
love
about
that
himself.
He says that about himself.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
I feel like I relate with this guy. Yeah, I'm a fish. I'm not that smart. What do you need? You need to store some stuff in my house? That's fine.
Yeah, garbage cans sound good. I never use those. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. But he also has a record, convicted a few years earlier for beating a man with a chair. Okay, now I don't relate to
I
this.
know, Jesse, it's like as soon as we start liking them, we remind ourselves of the crimes they've committed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, not good guys.
All right, chair beating fish man. This guy is perfect to guard 14 million pounds worth of jewels and precious metals.
It also seems weird to be like, what's special about his garbage cans? You know, it's like, why bring a 6th person in that I assume you have to split some money with?
I guess because they assume that the police are going to be all over them, so they had to go to another person. You know, like, well, we're probably going to get caught, so let's hide it in our friend's house.
And they think that, okay, if we get caught, at least they'll never find the money. I mean, I guess that's possible, but they went to all the effort with the bleach and everything. You have to think they're like confident they're not going to get caught. But maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. It's just
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Carl Wood, who bailed him out of the job because the light spooked him, tries to cash in anyway. He tries to like, hey, can I get in on it even though I ran away? Can I get some money? Can I get like
he is in debt.
a gold bar?
He does need the money. You think
I need like 4 gold bars,
He
man.
seems
That's
the
all
most desperate of all of them, but then he bailed, so.
Yeah, but then Danny shuts him out and shuts him down.
Sorry, Carl.
Sorry, Carl. No share, no sympathy. Get out of here, Carl. All right. Carl had missed a big night, and in Danny's eyes, that meant no payday. Brian's payout is also a debate. Sure, he was indispensable in forming the plan, but he also ditched.
I get it. If you're ditching, you have to understand you might not get anything anymore, right?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Like,
bailed.
I'm leaving, but you guys got this, right?
I'm gonna go, but I still want my piece if you guys get something. No, Brian. I don't care if you're the governor or not. Sorry, governor.
Sorry, governor.
Yeah. And then despite the wreckage and chaos that is the vault, there were barely any physical clues left behind. No DNA, no fingerprints, no face shots, and no witnesses. So well done there. But we did say barely any evidence, so well done for the most part. Because Basil missed one camera. There was a single CCTV camera over the fire exit that was still rolling, and it ran on a separate system. He didn't know that. I don't know how he would know that.
Yeah. And
apparently it captured Basil opening the door for the rest of the crew. I mean, obviously he's wearing his red wig, but he's not blocking his face this time. So investigators latched onto that single lead and start to unspool the thread from there. They watch the fire exit video frame by frame. They check the CCTV street cameras nearby, all to identify that white van and its owner. So, hello, Kenny Collins. They pull traffic footage and follow Kenny's white Mercedes around town during the heist weekend. So this is like you said earlier, take the bus, don't drive your own car. When I was learning about this earlier, I was like, wait, that van earlier was Kenny's car? Why? You know, at least rent. You know, I don't know if we've ever seen someone use their own car before. We've definitely seen U-Hauls be rented and they still get caught anyway because of it partially. But still, at least make an effort, right?
Yeah, it makes me think about going to Machine Mart. They just wouldn't the cops just go like, let's see who bought a huge Ram at the store down the street?
Right. If you leave the Ram there, they're like, okay, who sells Rams? Well, Machine Mart does. That's in their name. Let's go see. Yeah, it is true.
You gotta think of everything, guys. I don't know.
That was a desperation move, right? I mean, we know that, and so.
But the van, yeah, you're right.
But the van, it's like you had time to have your brother-in-law Billy the Fish do it, or I
guess on the outside it seems so obvious and stupid, and like how can you not do this correctly? You did this for professionally, and you took 3 years to do it. How can you be so silly? But we're not heist.
I mean, their experience. You think they would think about things. They've also, to me, it's like when you get caught, don't you learn a lesson from that? So I don't. Maybe they've never been caught because of the van before or because of their vehicle. I mean, it just shows how hard these are. I mean, as creative as they are in so many of these elements, and Basil going down elevator shafts and everything, and how cinematic and visual and impressive it feels, but it's hard. And sometimes the cops are good, but so often it feels like there's just obvious mistakes made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they pull that traffic footage. They now see Kenny's white Mercedes, and that actually leads them to Kenny's shopping partner, Danny Jones. From there, police examine their phone records, find they were collaborators of this longtime thorn in the police's side, that being Terry Perkins. They can't let Terry get away, not again. He's the guy that slipped away for 17 years and has barely faced any repercussions. So Bob Neal, this is a quote, chair of the Justice Select Committee, which apparently is an oversight board of Britain's Justice Department, said, this is his quote, "It can't be that justice was done if someone's had 17 years of prime time to enjoy the proceeds of their crime. That's laughing, not just in the face of justice, but of everybody else. Clearly, there was a really bad failure at that time." So they're out to get Terry. They really feel it. A thorn in their side. The police now have enough evidence to get a judge to allow them to bug some cars, which apparently in Britain is a big deal. Like, it's a lot harder to get that approval there. Up first, Terry's car. And what do they catch? Terry, quite earnestly, chatting about how he plans to use his cut of the loot to fund his pension. Then Kenny's van, where he and Danny rehash some highlights from the heist and dish out some juicy gossip about their fellow gang members. Sounds like a fun wiretap.
Yep.
And then mostly also they're basically complaining about Carl and Brian ditching. There's this mentioning everybody's name. It's like a game of dominoes where whenever they mention a new name, that guy's car gets bugged. And then the final nail, the police learn that the pub meetings are still happening. Guess they never heard of laying low, right? So they set up hidden cameras, and what do they see? The full gang, minus Basil, though, we should say. He made himself scarce after the heist. Because
he knows how to do it.
He knows what he's doing, exactly. And the full gang is arguing like grumpy uncles at a family barbecue. Who gets what share, whether to melt down the gold, who's the smartest, who deserves more, who's full of it. These guys love a good argument.
Just to be clear, I'm the smartest.
Oh, yeah. They even catch them filling Brian in on everything he missed during the night 2 of the heist. So Brian still comes to the pub, even though he bailed. And we actually have a still here from the footage.
I know. It's pretty funny.
It's just 3 Michael Caines sitting at a pub, drinking some...
3 Michael Caines walk into a bar. That's my favorite joke.
3 Michael Caines walk into a bar. And from the recording of the meeting that we have the image of, if we get nicked, at least we can hold our heads up that we had a last go. That is such a good line.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's that makes sense that's their outlook.
And then, so after weeks of bickering and bugged conversations, they settle on a plan. They'll transfer around £4 million between 2 of their cars on May 19th. They're going to use Hughes' workshop for the handover. Will May 19th be a day of triumph for the rogue retirees, or will their elaborate plot all come crumbling down? Find out with us after the break.
Welcome back, Heist Clubbers. We're back. It's May 19th, 2015, a day of triumph for the Grandads gang, or so they think. While they're planning the handover at Hughes' shop, the cops are making plans of their own. Kenny Collins is the first to fall, with police arresting him at his home. Inside his home, cash, jewelry, wristwatches, coins, and a money counter. Not looking too good.
Were the wristwatches from this crime, or are those just previous?
He has watches. Yeah. He must be a criminal.
He has 2 wristwatches.
What?
Must be a criminal.
Yes.
He has coins.
What? I mean, the money counter and jewelry.
The money counter, yeah.
Yeah. And then Brian, the master, the governor,
the
Reader.
Governor. Hello, Governor.
He has so many names. I think the Reader is a cool last name, too. They should do something with that. Anyway, he's up next. Police find the red scarf he wore. Why did he wear that scarf? We'll never know. He wore it in the security footage that Basil failed to disable. Also in his home.
Probably should have gotten rid of it anyway. Whatever you wear that day. Burn it. Burn your clothes.
And also burn all this crap that they found, like a book on the diamond black market, and a diamond tester, and a diamond gauge, and several issues of Diamond Enthusiast magazines.
And a memoir that started with 3 days ago, I stole this from...
Maybe he's just really into diamonds, which is not a thing. Like, I don't know who that... I don't
By
know
the way,
that
Diamond
kind of
Enthusiast magazines. I mean, I didn't know those exist,
It's got to be only for criminals.
I thought they were just like catalogs. There's like catalogs,
Maybe it's illegal to it's a black market magazine.
Yeah.
Because people just know that it's only
or the police put it out just as a sense. Like, anyone who buys a Diamond Enthusiast magazine, we can assume is stealing diamonds.
Just look at the list
of
subscribers to this magazine.
Yep.
But so he got caught. Next up, Danny Jones, our fez-wearing friend. At his place, police find cash, a drill, a very on-brand read, Forensics for Dummies.
Forensics for Dummies. I'd love to think that he was wearing the fez hat when they caught him. I'd love to
And
think
his
that.
mother's gown, and he was in a little sleeping bag, like snoring. Yeah. Covered in cash. Next up, the Fish. Billy the Fish, William Lincoln, is pulled over driving his Audi A3. He tries to destroy a note with an address on it, which is the Wheats Heath pub where some of the loot was handled. And in classic Billy fashion, the tear job is sloppy. Sloppy fish, man.
Sloppy fish. What a sloppy fish.
What a sloppy fish. They pieced back together the note in minutes. Not a very good job on that. Then Carl Wood is the last to be picked up. The man who panicked at the light and bet on the job is now getting arrested for it anyway.
It sucks.
I mean, as he should.
He should. It's just like in debt and going to prison.
Yeah. In total, the raids uncovered nearly 5 million pounds, $6.7 million American dollars worth of goods. Once the arrest hit the news, the public expects what? Hardened gangsters menacing mobsters? But instead, they see a bunch of pensioners in cardigans. Bunch of grandpas.
Hey, Grandpa.
And just like that, the Hatton Garden Gang becomes overnight celebrities. When police march them to their holding cells, they don't hang their heads or hide their faces. They smile, wave, throw thumbs up, and blow kisses to the crowd like they're at a red carpet premiere.
I imagine them like handing candies, little candies, sucking candies.
They have little
to the people
candy
nearby.
canes.
Here's a candy for you.
One's dressed as Santa
Here's a candy for you.
Claus.
I mean, I'm guessing they didn't play it up, but also it makes sense to play it up, right? It's like, oh, I'm old and feeble, and I have candies in my pocket.
I think they've had this mindset from the get-go. Like,
Yeah.
Let's just try this. We're going to die tomorrow anyway. Maybe. I think some of them were kind of like that. The tabloids eat it up and hand out nicknames like Dad's Army or the Diamond Weezers, the Old Blaggers, the Grandads Gang.
Grandads Gang, which we've been using. I thought of a couple other ones which they did not use. You can tell me if you like any of these.
Okay.
I thought about the Senile Safecrackers.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, good. I'm like, wait, do you like it?
No, yeah.
The pensioned pirates. Again, I like the long-lived larcenist. And then I had the geriatric gang instead of Grandads Gang.
That's good.
Yeah. But there's still one loose thread. That mystery ginger-haired figure known only as Basil. Police offer £20,000, which is $27,000 for his capture. And detectives at Scotland Yard shamefully admit they're nowhere near close to uncovering his identity. And in old-fashioned gangster style, the Grandads Gang refused to give up Basil's identity. So that's good. It's amazing they didn't say his name. I mean, I guess, do they know his real name? Actually, they don't even know that. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't mention it while they're at the pub at some point. Like they said everything else out loud. They somehow did not say Basil's real name.
I feel like if everybody was acting like Basil, then we wouldn't know this story because they would have gotten away with it.
Yeah, so maybe if it wasn't Michael Caine 17, if it was Basil 17, and there was a bunch of clones of Basil, it'd be a whole different
Exactly,
whole different
but we
situation.
don't know who he is. It would just be a crappy movie because we wouldn't see anybody.
A copy, yeah. Trying to make a copy when you can't find the person.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, our slick diamond-snatching silver foxes, not looking so clever. The government's got an ironclad case because these career criminals were a little modern in their planning, just in all the wrong ways. Take their phones, for example. Nearly every single one of them planned the job over their own personal cell phone. So texts, calls, the whole blueprint, stamped, traceable, open and shut. Exceptions. Who do you think the exception was, Jesse?
Mr. Basil.
Mr. Basil, who didn't carry a phone at all, trying to stay off the grid. So smart.
Wow.
Basil,
What the
I
restraint.
know we'll get to our diamond rating later, but I'm going to jump ahead and say, Basil, 5 diamonds, 5 stars.
Yeah, what the restraint? No phone, no
Everyone
Candy
else?
Crush for this guy.
Not so much. But then Brian, I guess, also didn't carry a phone because he couldn't figure out how to use one. Oh, governor. But he borrowed his son's phone for nefarious deeds. I guess he learned how to use his son's one. The cops traced it, and his son had a little stint in jail, too. Thanks, Dad.
That's funny.
What a good gift from your dad.
Way to go.
Then there's Danny Jones, our fave. He Googled power tools and vault drills on his personal laptop. And remember the extra gear he bought? He gave the store his real name and address. These are just obvious. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
You're not even
dude.
trying. Eventually, 4 of the gang decides just cop to it. So Brian Reeder, Kenny Collins, Terry Perkins, and Danny Jones all pled guilty. Not everyone followed suit, though. William Lincoln, Billy the Fish, he goes to trial.
Billy the Fish.
And his lawyers take a very creative approach. They argue that he's easily influenced by others, a poor victim to old-fashioned peer pressure. The jury did not buy it. Not surprised.
Yeah. I can't be in trouble because I'm actually a fish.
I'm just a fish. I'm just a fish.
I'm just a fish.
So everyone gets a prison sentence. Terry, Kenny, Danny, and Billy the Fish all get 7 years. Wow, 7 years for Billy, just for storing the money after. Terry actually doesn't finish his sentence, though. He passes away in 2018, so that's sad. And then Brian and Carl get 6. So they still get 6, even though they fled. Only a year less. Hugh gets lucky with a suspended sentence and stays adamant he was completely ignorant of the plot. I mean, it's true. Hugh didn't do as much, right? So,
Right.
I mean, suspended sentence feels like something, though. When Billy got 7 years, I mean, Hugh didn't do nothing. Hugh, do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Hugh?
I like that.
And then after they serve their sentences, they have to come up with £6 million or face going back to prison. So that's what's outstanding. And then a little bit more of an update. Brian died in September 2023, shortly after his release from prison. So the governor is no more. The Telegraph suspects that he made over £200 million in his career, which is $270 million US dollars. That's a career. That's more than a lot of professional athletes make.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And in his death certificate, his family lists his profession as a retired gardener. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's really
pretty,
good.
That's pretty funny. But wait, what about the elusive seasoning man? What about basil?
Where's our basil? I can't find my basil anywhere. Honey, did you put it in the spice drawer?
You got to use cilantro. Just because he's slippery doesn't mean he's uncatchable. Investigators meticulously watch all surveillance footage, ruling people out one by one. They are hell-bent on getting the basil. They even studied body language, figuring out who our gang is most comfortable with. By the end of 2015, they had their prime suspect. For over 2 years, they watch him like a hawk, waiting for him to slip up. That is a lot of patience to get one person. Like, what's your job? Oh, I watch one guy trying to arrest him, and it's been 2 years.
I mean, impressive that it took 2 years for them to slip up, but also, I mean, that's real diligence. That's real. I mean, these cops are taking this seriously. You know?
I know.
I think Basil was the real thorn in their side all along.
Okay. But this guy's a professional, and they couldn't get enough evidence to obtain a search warrant. But one weird thing got him. His gait, as in he has an odd way of walking, throwing out his right foot at each step.
Oh,
which is
I think I know who it is then. It's Kaiser Sose.
Who is Basil Sose?
Verbal Kint had that little.
You're right.
Yeah,
we figured it out. It's Kevin Spacey. That's what he was
that
up
was
to.
based on. I mean, even though that movie came out before this crime, so maybe that didn't really work. But reminds me of Usual Suspects. Reminds me of
funny.
Kaiser Sose. Vlatima Kaiser Sose.
Anyway, he throws his right foot out at each step. Investigators provide hours of footage matching Basil's walk to their prime suspect. In March of 2018, 3 years later, it's enough for a search.
Math is hard. Math
is hard. In March of 2018, it's enough for a search warrant, which led to a one-bedroom apartment. Inside, they find 150,000 pounds worth of gold and jewelry.
He's living in a one-bedroom. He's just like this solitary, simple life this man lives.
Yeah.
And he's not spending it quickly. He's holding on to it until he thinks enough time has passed.
Yeah.
I mean, they got him because of the gate, but I still feel like I'm again, another tease. 5 diamonds for Basil.
Yeah, no, I like this guy. For years, Basil was just a name, a seasoning, a legend. The red-wigged ghost with master-level security skills and no digital footprint. He walked into Hatton Garden through the front door, disabled alarms like it was nothing, and vanished into the London fog. But eventually, the mystery man got a name. Michael Seed. Wait, is that why he's called Basil? Because he's a seed?
Because he's a seed. That's funny. He, by the way, does not look like Michael Caine. He's almost like a Rowan Atkinson character. You can see
my gosh. Mr. Bean himself.
Yeah,
You're
Mr.
right.
Beanish. Just like, you can see how he could
Yeah, I don't know who it reminds me of, but
Expressionless.
definitely not. He looks like a politician. Anyway, Michael Seed, age 55, residence North London, former alarm specialist turned jewelry trade insider. He was cautious, brilliant, and deeply off the grid, as we already figured out. He is the son of a Cambridge academic.
Wow.
He crushed his A levels, which is like the US's ACT, and he studied physics at university. Wise dude. But he was also known to take LSD every weekend, which
Expanding his mind.
Just
He's expanding his mind in every direction.
yeah, but every weekend I just can't. That is a
How do you keep it together?
Way of living.
How could you keep it together? Seriously,
that is pretty interesting. Just him tripping his balls off in his
one-bedroom apartment alone,
just looking at his gold,
staring at the walls and his gold. Yes.
Yeah.
Gold talks to him.
I gotta lay low. Yeah. And in 1984, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for dealing LSD and cannabis. Wow. So he just likes his drugs, I guess.
Yeah.
But after that, he went quiet, lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment for decades. No taxes, no benefits. He almost never used his bank account. This is a careful dude who is tripping all the time. I think he's fascinating.
He really is.
And then in the 90s, he worked as a tech repairman until he made the jump to the jewelry trade. That's when he met the governor, Brian Reeder. It's purely a thing for money, later Michael said. Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's so interesting it's purely for money because he's not really spending it that much. Or doesn't seem like he is. He's not living a lavish life. I mean, I'm surprised he said it's purely for the money because it seems to me like he's just up for the challenge. He's a smart guy, and he must love the thrill of like coming up with these plans and getting away with them, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But he's also a jewelry trader. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what he does. Yeah, he doesn't spend his money. Like, why live? You know, like, why have the money if you can't spend it? Yeah, it's interesting. He's not like an adrenaline junkie or someone hankering for justice like some of our previous Heist Club stars.
True.
He's been living under the radar, watching the media circus from a safe distance. While others waved to crowds and gave interviews, he disappeared into his mind, into his one bed,
into the LSD.
Into the LSD.
He really disappeared.
That does help you keep a low profile,
that
I think. My low profile is in my own mind. But in the end, he could not run the case forever, and Michael was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Even though authorities swiftly caught the pensioners' pact, the damage to Hatton Garden's reputation and finances was far too great. Just months after the heist, the company went belly up. Bummer for Hatton Garden. Yeah. But that's not the end of the story. In December 2015, a savvy businessman leased the vault room for £200,000 and then later purchased the whole building. In 2021, he donated the vault to the Museum of London, where it will be exhibited to the public. Yes, the vault will be disassembled and reassembled just as the pensioners left it. It will be open to the public in 2026. All right, we got to go on a field trip.
I know. That's quite a compliment, right? It's like to be that famous for your crime that they're preserving it as it was for people to see and they think people will come visit.
That is weird. You're like praising it.
Yeah. I mean, like this, and they're openly saying, you know, this is I guess maybe because the business is closed now, so there's a little bit less, you know, hey, it's not like a running business where you would ever show pride in that or make sure it stays in people's minds.
I just feel like the thieves would be very proud of that, you know?
Yeah. Then others will want to, I want to top that. I want to steal even more money, so I will get a museum made after my crimes.
Yeah. They'll also be proud of this. The Hatton Garden heist inspired 2 feature films, a documentary, a 4-part radio series, and a play. So it's pretty popular. And an episode of this podcast. Not bad for one last job.
And we should say 2 feature films, and Michael Caine was in the most recent one, although he's retired from acting now. And he played the governor. He played Brian.
He plays, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we should say not everything was recovered. There's still £9 million or $12 million US worth of items like precious stones and gold bars still missing. Yeah. Should they be back in jail then if they didn't return everything? But Brian and Terry, I mean, obviously they've passed away, but everyone else is still kicking. Maybe Billy the fish took the trash out too early. Maybe it's time to dig up some landfills.
It's out there, folks, if you want to go find it.
Let's start the treasure hunt. It's out there somewhere. And you don't have to be geriatric to find it. Good luck to you all.
Let's go. Another reason to go to London.
Well, that is the end of our tale. Go find the movie. Go watch Michael Caine. Imagine him in all the roles. And I've already said Basil gets 5 stars, gets 5 diamonds for me. Sorry, Basil gets 5 diamonds if we're going to give this a ranking. Overall, though, I think 3.5.
I'll say 4.
I'm going to say 3.5. Obviously, they pulled it off, but then they made so many obvious mistakes after,
Yeah, I mean, they even had to go back and stuff. Okay, yeah, 3.5. I take it. I already crumbled at my own opinion.
I was going to say they didn't get caught because they went back. And I think in general, that's sort of true. Although Machine Mart and giving their real name and stuff or whatever, like that did affect them. So
right.
In general, the coming back, they worked out because they got the $19 million US, they got, like they pulled it off. Maybe 3.5 is too low because it's the biggest burglary in UK history.
I guess I'm just waiting for
maybe
a
that's
very
4 stars.
Smooth heist where nothing goes wrong. I mean, it's good.
I know.
It's smart when they can pivot and figure it out, but yeah.
I guess I would give 4 stars even if you get caught, if at least you get caught for like a really impressive reason, right?
Right.
And when you get caught for dumb reasons or you spend 3 years planning the heist and then spend 2 weeks figuring out to give it to Billy the Fish, it's like, I'm sorry, what are you doing? This is, you've already undermined your diamond rating in my eyes.
You think you have a plan what to do with the money. That's insane to me.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Heist Club members, we'd love to know what you think. I mean, what would your diamond rating be for the Haddon Garden heist? Is prison in your 80s worth it so you can keep living the thrill of the heist? These guys thought so. They didn't even care about getting away with it in the end. I think Jesse would ask, would you return to the heist after the first attempt failed, or would you bail like Brian and Carl?
Get out of there.
Jesse would bail. They did go to prison, so like, would you rather live a relaxed life in a retirement home in Florida or rob banks for a living? When you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, what are your goals? Is it impressive these guys were still living their dream? And
you got to give your life.
Still doing their day job, if you will.
Got to give your life meaning, and if that's all you know your whole life, that makes sense.
And I think the first ever Heist Club challenge we're going to issue out there, can you shrug so loudly that your microphone picks it up?
Send in the video.
Send in your videos. How loud of a shrug can you give us?
ASMR out there, and we need your help.
That's right. We want a 60-minute ASMR video that is just slow shrugging.
That is so silly. Okay, thanks everybody. See you next week. Thanks for listening. And then tune in next week for There's No Place Like Home. There's no place like home. There's no place like the trunk of an ex-mobster's car.
See y'all.
Bye.
Heist Club is a production of School of Humans, hosted by me, Todd Weiser.
And me, Jesse Neismonger. I do all the fancy audio and music editing too.
This episode was researched and produced by Carolyn Talmadge. Our senior producer is Amelia Brock.
Our production manager is Daisy Church. Our executive producers are Virginia Prescott, Brandon Barr, and Elsie Crowley.
Join us again next week for Heist Club, and don't forget to rate and review. Thanks.